Hi friends, Lindsay here from Diary of a Homeschool Mama, and today I want to share with you all of the read alouds that we did for May and June. So, the first one that we finished was the fourth book in the Percy Jackson series. We really did like this book. However, the third book is still my favorite out of the series. This one got a little bit mature, a lot more, I don't know, I guess love interests and stuff in this one, because the characters in it were getting older. I think the characters in it in this one are like 14 and 15 and stuff like that. So there was more dating, I guess, more kissing and things like that. Nothing super inappropriate, but still kind of made me uncomfortable reading it to my 10-year-old. I guess. I don't know. But it's still a really good series. This one was okay, but like I said, the third one, still my favorite in the series. Then we read the last book in the series. This one had a lot of action in it, which was really good. I love a book that has a lot going on, a lot of cliffhangers, a lot of action and things like that. So we did really enjoy this one, but again, still more maturing of the characters. The characters are like 16 in this one, so more dating, more talk of love, more kissing and things like that. Again, not super inappropriate, but did make me a little uncomfortable reading it with my 10-year-old. I'm not going to lie. Had he been a little bit older, it would have been fine. Or had we not done this as a read aloud and he was reading it on his own, I think it would have been fine. But it was just kind of like awkward, I guess. So yeah. But overall, we really, really did enjoy the Percy Jackson series, and I do highly recommend it. These are very good books, very well written. Rick Riordan, I think is how you say his name. He has a bunch of series, so we will definitely be checking out some more of his series here probably soon. I don't really know when, because we have so many books that we want to read right now. And also, we're starting Sunlight July 1st, so that's going to be where our focus will be. So, yeah. So I wanted to share those with you guys. And then the next book I want to share is Matilda. I read this with my oldest as a read aloud, and we absolutely loved this book. It's so funny and so good. I love everything by Roald Dahl. I love reading his books out loud because I feel like they are just so fun to read. But yeah, we really enjoyed this book. I was very familiar with this book because I read it as a kid, and I also saw the movie as a kid. But we will be watching the movie soon because I really feel like the movie is really good as well. So yeah, but we really enjoyed this. I highly recommend it. And then the next book that I want to share is a read aloud that I read with my youngest. He is going into the second grade. This is Runaway Ralph. This is a series of 3 books. There is The Mouse and the Motorcycle, which we read already, and then there is this one, and then there is Ralph S. Mouse. So we read this one, and we really, really enjoyed it. It is a super cute story. There's a lot of funny moments. Just a really, really good story. I love the author, Beverly Cleary. I wasn't too sure of her books before because as a kid when I read them, I read some of them. I didn't really like them, but as an adult reading them to my children, I love it. But yes, my son got so into this book that I even asked him before we went to the next one, like, do you want to read something else and kind of break it up and then go to the next Ralph book? And he was like, no, I want to read the next Ralph book. So he is one of those kids that really loves books in a series. So a lot of times I think we're going to be reading books that if there is a series, we'll definitely be reading all the books at once. That's how he is, and that's what he enjoys. So it works for me. But we really enjoyed this book. And then moving on to the next one, it was Ralph S. Mouse. I didn't enjoy this one as much because it was all about like public school. Ralph goes to school, and it was a good book, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't really enjoy it as much as the first 2. Since we homeschool, I just didn't really enjoy like talking about him being in public school and that kind of stuff. But nonetheless, it was still a really funny book, and there was a lot of adventure in it, and my son did really enjoy it. Overall, the series is just very good, and I highly recommend it. So what comes in the series is, let me see if I can go to the back and show you. Yes, The Mouse and the Motorcycle, Runaway Ralph, and Ralph S. Mouse. So all very good books. Highly, highly recommend them. And then the next book that I want to talk about, I read with my oldest. We read Freedom Crossing, and this is by Margaret Gough Clark. We really, really enjoyed this book. It is a shorter read, so it only took us about a week. Sorry, my cat. Like I've said previously, he seems to make it into every video now. But anyway, we really enjoyed this book. It is about the Underground Railroad. It was just a really good one. And it's kind of a sad one. Like, I was almost brought to tears a couple times, but it's basically about a 12-year-old runaway slave, and it talks a lot about the just the things that he went through being a slave with his master and all of that stuff. The girl in it, she lived in the South previously, so she had a lot of the beliefs that slaves were property, and that they weren't people, that they didn't matter as much as, someone else that wasn't a slave. And it just really was really sad, but it was awesome to see her transform into a better person, and to see her help him, and to completely change her views on such a huge topic in history. So this was a really, really good book. I highly recommend it. Like I said, it's a very short read, so it'll probably only take you like a week to get through. But nonetheless, we really, really enjoyed this one. The next book that I want to share, I read also with my oldest. This is actually from the Good and the Beautiful's library. They take books and they basically out of print books, and they clean them up, and now they have them published themselves. So this was the first book in their library that we read. It is called Just David, and this is actually a really beautiful story. It starts out with a tragedy, but you get to see a lot of characters grow, and a lot of characters change the way that they think and the way that they feel about the world and everything, and it just was such a good read. It is like 25 chapters, so it did take us like almost a month to get through, but it was so worth it. We really, really enjoyed it, and my son actually said that he hopes that there are more books like this one, because it is up there for him and his favorites with The Golden Goblet, and that was like one of his very favorite books that we've ever read. So yeah, we really enjoyed this. Highly recommend it, and I can't wait to dive into more books from the Good and the Beautiful library, because I have a feeling that all of the books we read from them are going to make us feel the way that this one did. And the way that everything was described, the scenery and everything, it just really made you feel like you were there. So definitely recommend this. This is actually one of the books that is part of the Good and the Beautiful's high school program. So I don't know that it's really something I would read with a 10-year-old like I did, but there's nothing inappropriate in it. Like, it's not like that. It's just that if you are using the Good and the Beautiful, maybe save it until the high school program. But we wanted to dive in, and I'm really glad that we did. It's a very good book. Okay. The last book I have to share, we actually just finished reading. It is The Little House in the Big Woods. This is a huge book. It is their read aloud edition. But we really, really enjoyed this. Both of my kids were just entranced with it. And if you've read the Little House series, I can't remember a whole lot about it, but after reading this one, I was like, okay, there's not a lot of action that happens in these books, but there's something comforting about them. It's almost like the type of book that you would like curl up by a fire and read on like a winter night or something. Like, we really, really enjoyed it. My kids especially, and I was actually really shocked by that, because like I said, there's not a whole lot of action. There's not a whole lot that's happening in the book that would be considered exciting, I guess. But they really enjoyed it. They begged for more, And my oldest son literally every day was like, when are we reading Little House? So it's a good thing there's like 9 more books in the series, right? So we will be moving on to Little House on the Prairie next, and I'm very excited about that. So that is all of the read alouds that we read for May and June. And here in a couple days, July 1st, we will be starting our school year, and we will be starting Sunlight. So I will have so many books to share with you guys through this year of what we are reading. We do plan to get through the whole Little House series, but that'll be something that we read in our spare time. So each book will probably take us a while to get through, but I'm totally okay with that. I envision this being something that we read at night, before they go to bed, kind of curl up and read like a chapter or so. So yeah, this is what we read for May and June, and I hope this gave you guys some good ideas of what to read with your children, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.